Welcome back to Dum-Dums and Dragons, where improvisers who've never roleplayed before journey into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Grand Wizard Bukake, your host. Our heroes have arrived in Quinntown, and things are getting complicated. Juniper realized her bite may be more than she expected. Quinny failed to convince his parents they needed to flee the town, and Butthole began to formulate a plan to get the townsfolk to safety. Can our heroes save the day before one of their many enemies attacks? Find out next on Dum-Dums and Dragons.
So, Juniper, you're examining the bite marks on your arm with Doc Shinbone that you obtained during the attack by some of the fries earlier. And though you've managed to lay on hands and kind of close up the wounds, they still remain. What, if anything, would you like to do at the doctor's office to take a better look at this, knowing that the pain seems to have subsided? There's just sort of a dull ache.
I'd like to ask the doctor if he's seen this before.
Sure. Well, let's do a medicine check from old Doc Shinbone. So he looks at it and he does seem puzzled. And he just says, well, as I said, I'm more used to just doing kind of topical creams and ointments and that sort of thing. So this certainly looks like a healed wound. When you touched your magic finger to it or whatever you did there, it seemed to do a pretty effective job. But the skin does seem a little angry, which is odd. Are you in a tremendous amount of pain or just a little bit of discomfort?
No, it's not comfortable. And usually it's pretty comfortable afterwards.
Well, this does just kind of look like a dog bite. Maybe you got rabies?
Okay. And I will lay on hands on myself again, but this time to cure one disease.
Yep.
Rabies. Yeah.
So he turns around holding like a little vial. He's in the middle of mixing and just watches you touch your arm again, and his eyes kind of go wide and says, "Oh, I didn't know magic fingers could do that too. Oh, guess I'll save this one for later then. Always good to have them on hand, you know." And he puts it back on the shelf. Do you regain hit points as well?
I'm full on hit points, so I will just expend 5 of my
Great, in order to fire it off. You do so, and it does not change.
Well, I'm a bit stumped now. Have you got anything for rabies?
Small smile, and he turns back around and gets the vial and he said, "See, I told you, these always do come in handy. Waste not, want not." And he hands you a little vial. You get the sense that whatever he's mixed up is likely fine. In modern medical terms, this would likely knock you on your ass for a while and might treat it, but it's not. This is by no means a
cure.
Cure. It's probably more of a suppressant.
So it's going to suppress the rabies. Because it's definitely rabies, right?
Totally.
Or your ability to function. Who knows?
God, I'm so thirsty all of a sudden. No, I'm scared of water. Shit.
Jaw locking up. You're both. You got it right. You're both.
All of the above. All right. So I assume you take the rabies sort of topical herbal, not topical, but.
Yeah. I mean, if this doesn't work. Doc, okay, let's say this isn't rabies and say what bit me was some sort of were-beast.
As in, you were unaware of its geographical location in... I'm sorry, I'm a little bit confused.
As in W-E-R-E?
A were-beast? So something you killed.
Where?
Where what?
Wolf?
Sorry, it's a wolf. A wolf bit you.
Ish, but like a person... too. Kind of goes back and forth.
Maybe you have rabies. This is concerning. He goes for a thermometer and says, "I think you might be a little more affected there than we initially thought." Juniper, you get the sense he has no fucking idea what a where anything is.
Yeah.
He is a small town doctor.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
At which point you start to hear a bell ring. And his eyes kind of his bushy eyebrows go up, and he just says, "Oh, looks like a town hall meeting's being called. Oh, these are always a treat. You've come at a very exciting time. If there's going to be a town hall meeting, might even be a barn dance afterwards." And he says, "So, but only come if you're feeling up to it. If not, you're certainly welcome to rest here, and I can certainly, continue to treat your ailments as best I can."
No, I'll come. I think I know what this is about.
Oh, well, that puts you one step ahead of me. Hang on, I got to put on my good hat. And he goes and gets an admittedly very, he's clearly taken very good care of this hat, but it matches his jacket and his little pinstripe suit. And he puts it on, makes him look a little bit like a 1930s gangster. But he's doing his best. And he says, "Well, then let's go to the meeting."
All right. And Juniper puts a bandage around her arm, just in case compression will help. You never know.
Yeah, that's fair. And you proceed to wheel out with him. Quinny, what did you do after you left your parents' house?
I waited outside for Butthole, waited for him to kind of come out. I'm assuming that was a short conversation.
Yes, yeah.
And that he was ready to kind of wrap it up. When he steps outside with Crendon, there we go. I'd say, all right, we should probably go find Juniper, whatever she's up to, and together kind of we'll address everyone in the center of town.
Yeah, I've got a plan now. So I'm thinking if you want to make the emotional plea for the fact that everybody's got to leave, then I can hit him with a promise from the crown kind of thing. I talked with your parents for a second, so I think I know what'll get them to go with us.
What'll get them to go?
No. It'll be better if I just do it with them. I still got to sort out the details in my head.
Why can't I know? They're my parents.
Well, it's about the town. It's not just about them specifically.
It's a little bit about them specifically. I'm not.
Well, they said they didn't want to leave because they were worried about their farm. So I'm coming up with a way where they can know the farm is safe, but go with us so that they don't have to be on the farm. Take them away and we promise to bring them back, kind of thing.
All right. And where's Ginny? Ginny?
Oh, she's right here.
Yeah, I'm here. She steps out from behind Butthole. And honestly, Quinny, she's pretty stealthy. That was a good. That was a good hide.
There you are. Go to your mom's and tell her to start packing up as well. I got to make an announcement to get everybody on the road.
So sorry to be clear, you want me to go and tell my mom that Quinny Brownbarrow says she has to pack up all her shit and go?
Quinny Brownbarrow and the King of Aka and the sheriff?
I think her mom might need to come to this meeting. It seems like there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. Maybe how do we call a meeting in this town? Is there a way we can do this fast?
Show up and start talking, and since people are, nosy, they'll just be like, "Oh, what's going on?" And then they'll just come. It's fine. I'm about to get so much fucking produce thrown at me. Goddamn.
Jenny, he's been away for 14 years. So is there something we could do faster to get everybody to show up?
Yeah, we installed a bell. And it's classic, and it's also clearly for every amount of sort of shit she's thrown at the town, there is a bit of that hometown pride thing. And she goes, it was actually, it was kind of cool. Everyone kind of, came together and chipped in a little bit. And then we had to find a traveling bell merchant, and I got to go it doesn't matter now. There's a bell. I can go ring it if you want.
That's great. Times have really changed here. Maybe we can bring the bell with us. Quinny leaves for the
and
bell.
Ginny just turns to Butthole and she's like, "It's really heavy. Why the fuck would we bring a bell with us?"
He's a weird guy. So 2 quick thoughts. 1, thought about this inside, realized it. Everybody's going to be calling me King Butthole, and we have to maintain authority, but I'm Quinny's friend, which makes you my niece, so you can call me Uncle Butthole.
Ah, fuck. I was going to try and beat you to that. To that joke, to the Uncle Butthole joke.
Yeah.
I was going to be like, "Ginny, you want some advice? Do you ever need anything from the king at all? You just throw a little Uncle Butthole out there, and he is clay in your hands." But you fucking beat me to it.
He'll establish it himself because he's fucking dumb. Yeah, Uncle Butthole. And then Quinny's probably going to wander around and make a bunch of people angry, and I don't think talking to anyone in advance is going to help him. So, do you think you can sneak past Quinny and ring that bell before he gets there?
And her eyes kind of narrow in excitement, and she says, "Uncle Butthole, I'm the second best thief in the world." And then she just takes off running in pure stealth. Quinny, I don't think you would be looking for her, so I don't know if I need to roll a stealth check for her or not. Do you think you would be like, what do you
want my passive perception?
Sure, let's go with that.
Under that, I'm sure I have confidence in my daughter. It's a 10. My
cool.
passive perception.
She's good then.
Yep.
So she kind of does a full like Naruto run back. Behind you with her arms out and the cape fluttering.
That's good. That's good stuff.
Just does a full Scott Pilgrim through a window leap into a bush before starting to Assassin's Creed her way up the tower. That's right. 3 separate genres.
Holy cow.
But that's how cool she is. So she begins to climb the tower. Quinny, where are you headed?
Just down one of the paths, kind of between some farmhouses, between 2 other properties, just heading into the town square sort of area where there's more buildings and sort of more of a market.
Sure. Yep. So as you step out, 2 major things kind of catch your eye. The first, of course, is you standing dramatically, eyes to the horizon, hand on hip. You have a full Zephyrin Cochrane in First Contact. They made a statue of me, because it doesn't really look like you. It looks like
the idea of me.
Yeah, 100%. It looks like the hero halfling of Waterdeep would look. And you've got a pumpkin under your foot. They still kind of dressed you up in the trappings of the town.
Yeah.
There are wreaths that have clearly been recently replaced around the sort of the epitaph base. It doesn't quite look like you, but it does look majestic as hell. You do note that there are no stones to steal from the eyes. So really, is it a Quinny statue if you can't rob it? I don't know. But they built it for a guardsman, not a thief. So I suppose it'll have to do.
Yeah.
Stranger still, beyond the statue, you see the old inn that Mirabelle's family owns. And you notice that where it was once called the Lazy Leaf, it has now been renamed Mirabelle's Rest. And you have kind of one of those weird moments of serendipity where you're kind of if we're framing this for film, you're seeing the statue in the foreground and that sign in the background, and it's a really strange juxtaposition kind of what life could have perhaps been if you'd stayed, but also both of it is kind of a lie in a strange way.
Right.
But it's just an odd, it's one of those odd moments of going back to your hometown that is strange. Similar to Scrooge going back to his childhood school, you're kind of struck by the sights and the smells of the downtown where you and Mirabelle would have spent time. You and some of the other kids, obviously you and your folks. It's a small town square. The statue's dead center. There's Mirabelle's Rest. There's McDougan's General Store, which has been owned by many people. No one knows who McDougan was, but they decided that it was a good enough name for the store that they've just kind of kept it. It's essentially the Ruth's Chris Steakhouse of Quinton, where it's just a name that means nothing passed down.
Yep.
There is the town hall that, sure enough, has been upgraded a little bit to include a bell. The upgrade kind of looks like shit. It's one of those weird heritage buildings that gets another building slapped on it jobs, where there's a very bright white, recently-ish built bell tower that's been attached to this kind of beautiful old barn that you would know was the first, generally regarded as the first barn that kind of kicked off cornucopia back in the day. And then, otherwise, certainly market stalls, places for people to pull in. There is Slick Tricks used card emporium. which is essentially like the, wherever you live in the world, the so-and-so county Ford, where it's just like, yeah, here are all the used cars of the general area and people can buy them and whatnot. And I'm here to help you. But of course, given that you guys need carts, Slick Tricks is likely the place to go. Slick Trick is also like he stands out like a sore thumb in town. He is the guy who kind of fancies himself a fancy city guy in the small town, and everyone kind of tolerates him more because he adds flavor than that they actually respect his status. But always dressed to the nines, definitely a character about town. You kind of have to wonder if he still owns the place because he was already kind of getting on when you knew him. But yeah, and then beyond this, in the distance, you can see the school, the doctor's shack, the small temple of Palor, as well as some of the other farms, kind of the roads that lead to the other farms that you're well aware of. And like walking around, we both grew up in relatively the same neighborhood, like walking the back streets of the suburbs, you fully know what each turnoff is, you know exactly where everything goes. And though there are some new, trees and rocks here or there that have been moved, it generally feels comfortable.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I think I stand in front of that statue for a minute before I kind of move on with the job that needs doing. And I'm looking for that bell, and I'm wondering, does the bell start ringing before I get there? Given my daughter's role.
Yeah, I rolled really well for her. So as you're staring, it's one of those moments where you pull up in front of the statue and you just stare up, and suddenly a bell starts ringing, and it's almost as though it's related in one of those ways where occasionally you're just like, what? Yeah, the bell starts ringing, and suddenly people start flooding out of the various places. And man, if there was a record to scratch at this point, it would scratch. Because though you are just staring up at a statue, for everyone coming out of these buildings, they're seeing a hero of myth and legend at this point, a folk hero, epic black cloak swung out behind him, hair tousled dramatically, blowing in the wind like Luke Skywalker, looking at the twin sons of Tatooine, an eye patch and a scar denoting his adventures, looking dramatically up at a statue that seems in turn to be looking dramatically down at him. And you just hear a voice yell, "Great Scott! It's Quinny Brownbarrow!"
Oh shit. Okay. Hi, hello there.
There's just a burst of applause and shock and screams. A guy faints. Immediately the town rushes you and just hoists you up on their shoulders.
Oh, no, hold on now. No.
And starts kind of bouncing you around mosh pit style. And you hear just over the mayor clearly has a cone of yelling.
Yeah.
And he just yells, everyone, quickly, the hero has returned. The hero has returned. I proclaim these Quinny days.
Put me down.
It's just a yell
angry.
of applause. And immediately, just get the printing press going. Someone get garlands.
Ow. Hey, watch that fucking hand, pal. Just getting less and less diplomatic the more I'm being kind of hoisted about.
Butthole's watching. It's adorable. He turns to Quinny and he's like, "So you've had iced tea and food. Do you need anything else? This isn't a traditional prisoner. You've got to shut up things. We're friends here."
Honestly, I'm just
in the background. You just hear, "I do not like being picked up."
Yeah.
I honestly, and he turns to you. He's actually got tears in his eyes, and he's just like, I didn't realize this was what we were putting under threat, So, no, I'm good.
All right, you're a good guy. If you need anything, you let me know. Otherwise, we're all just kind of wandering around together because we're twice the size of everyone else and don't want to get in the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't want to say anything, but I think I may have broken one of those chairs. Do I have to add that to my list of things to atone for?
Honestly, I think we're going to be doing a lot of moving, so stuff's going to get broken. You're okay, but I think we could just agree that maybe you owe that family a favor at some point. Just try to do right. It's not really math. It's more, philosophical than that.
Wow. Interesting. Okay. I got a lot to learn.
Yeah, but we got to give a speech once they put Quinny down. And he just looks back over to Quinny being tossed around.
I am going to cut someone.
And then you just hear, if anyone's going to cut someone, it's going to be me. And Raquel Grassgreen is just standing there, like glowering at you from the door of Mirabelle's Rest. And she just yells, everybody, hey, calm the fuck down. And like there's gasps at the cussing. And she is basically like if you shrunk Michelle Rodriguez to halfling height. So just like ripped, she's got like a couple of great tattoos on her biceps. She's like clearly the proprietor of the inn. So she's wearing one of those kind of like, she's essentially got on like a service apron that is formal to the waist so she can stand behind the front counter and seem like the attendant, and then just like pure utility belt from the way down. And she's just kind of like glowering up you, and she just says, hey, assholes, if he's here, what's with the statue? We were told he was dead. Hey, are you dead?
Okay, all right. Put me down now, folks. Seriously, I got something to say.
And they do, because it had not occurred to them that this might be awkward. And now that they've realized it, it is literally just like someone having a fight at a Gilmore Girls town hall meeting. And Stars Hollow is both here for it, but also does not want to get in the way. So they lower you down and just hear someone whisper in your ear, you're my hero. And then they step away.
It's like it's too close and it's too like it's whispered, but it's too loud in the ear. So I'm just like, and then I find a higher kind of place to speak from. I just kind of scamper up if there's anyone.
It's the statue.
It's the fucking statue. All right.
And Butthole, from where he's standing, will subtly thaumaturgy you because he can enhance the power of your voice so the whole crowd can hear you easily without you having to yell.
Yep. I'll turn around and give you a thumbs up for that. Appreciate that.
Juniper, you and Duction won't arrive, obviously, to this commotion.
Butthole gives you a wave from across the crowd, Juniper, but he's letting this
happen. It's just Juniper to like lifts up her uninjured arm.
Yeah, and he's like, oh yeah, all right, hi. Just like one of the weakest waves, just like, oh fuck me, just kind of feeling like a heel. People of Cornucopia, or
it's Quinton,
or Quinton, as you now seem to call it. Yes, I was dead. That is true. The details of my life and death have been somewhat, and I like look at the statue that I'm like leaning against, like I'm standing up on like I don't know how big this thing is, but
I would say it's like a standard human size. So it is large. You're also
so it's like halfling proportion, but like up to like human size on a statue. On top of like a plinth or whatever you would call that thing. Yeah.
Yep. You are a little alarmed this close up that it looks like just a fucking little bit like Reginald, which is just salt in the wound.
It's horrifying.
You know, just a classic war hero.
So then I'm sitting on the head of this thing with my feet kind of on each shoulder to like stabilize me is basically, I guess, how I'm doing it. And so I like look down at it through my legs. I say, details of my life and death were somewhat exaggerated or misrepresented. But the fact is I died saving a friend. And that same friend brought me back, and in a similar effort, I'm here to save you people, you folk. My friends and I all are here to save you folk. And in turn, we hope that you'll help save us, help save the world. You see, there's a war going on outside these walls. You may or may not know about. In fact, it's like a full-on apocalyptic event out there. Necromancy, the dead rising from their graves, monsters and fiends and gods alike, all wreaking havoc and vying for power. And there's one man who's fighting for us, who's looking to restore peace. That man is King Butthole Farch of Akka. He's forming a resistance. I'm part of that resistance. And we need your help. But first we need to get all of you out of here because you're in grave danger. You see this town, this statue, all of it, all of the connection to me has put you in danger. You see, in helping to form this alliance, this rebellion, whatever you want to call it, it's drawn some really negative attention from some very bad people that would want to hurt you in order to get to us. So we have a safe place for you, but it's not here. I'm here to ask you all to pack up your things, get the carts out, get the wagons out, load up. We need to leave. Everyone, you're all coming with us.
There's like assorted muttering. The crowd's like, rabble, 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 rabble. And then there's the mayor comes out. Mayor Butterbrown is just kind of like I'm imagining him a little bit like the Bruce Campbell mayor from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Okay. So just kind of like a little Elvis type. So he comes out, just slicks his pompadour back, and just says, "Well, we are honored that you've come back, Quinny, and welcome to the illustrious King Butthole Farch. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly."
You're not. It's literally Butthole.
But you may, and again, like reshaping the pompadour, just says, we have instituted a great defensive maneuver from one of our neighbors over at Treebury. Duff Dunsinane was good enough, and like they kind of point to him, and he's like, he's a gruff looking guy. You notice there's a few people here who are like less jolly, and you get the sense that a bunch of the refugees from Treebury ended up here. And he just kind of like waves, and said, helped us build this great wall of trees. So we know that things are bad outside, but bad things are like storms. They eventually blow over. So we're just going to hang tight and keep things going. And, nothing raises the spirits like a barn dance in Quinny days. So we got both of those coming up, and I think that's really going to do us pretty well. But thank you.
That's not gonna do it. You look tremendously familiar. What's your name again?
I'm Mayor Butterbrown. We grew up together. We were best friends.
Butterbrown, you're the mayor now?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Also, you were not. You're also definitely not best friends. He's just been telling everyone you were best friends in the way that people often do with sports heroes. So, yeah.
I'm sorry. That's neither here nor there right now. Great to catch up with you, but you're telling me a defensive tactic maneuver that you adopted from Treeberry is what you're putting the stock of your safety in currently? Because does anyone here know what happened to Treeberry?
Yeah, Duff puts up his hands like, yeah, it was overrun. That's why we came here and built the wall, but it's kept the zombies out for a while. It's good.
It might be, you know what? I don't doubt that it's effective against zombies. But there are more than zombies out there now, especially now that I'm back, so to speak, from the dead. This place won't stand up to a proper siege from the legions of undead, from mercenary bands, from
Juniper
nature deities.
Juniper just yelled, "Universes colliding!"
Yeah, the collision of multiple universes. That's a whole thing.
You mean like when people from Treebury came here and it was kind of weird because they're similar but different than us? That was really two worlds colliding. That was a weird one, yells Ivan Callow, who runs the dairy farm. Also, Ivan, hi, Quinny.
Hi, Ivan. It's not like that. It's not like that. I'm sorry to say.
And then from the back, you just hear Ginny be like, "It's like if you bash two eggs together," and everyone's like,
eggs, yes.
Oh no,
it's not good for
God,
either egg. God,
oh
yes,
man,
so
both those eggs
I
would
gotta
break.
write that down. That's really good.
Like Quinny, you just hear Butthole's voice in your ear with his thaumaturgical cell phone, and he's just like, "Let me know when you want me to tag in on this."
Like, oh man, like yesterday, man. I hate this.
I will say though, sorry, go ahead, Brian.
Oh, go for it, Tom. No, that's fine.
As these kind of like additional debates are happening, you do notice that everyone from Treebury is just kind of falling away from the crowd and is like going to start packing their stuff up. Including Duff, who is clearly like, the minute you're like, yeah, it works against the undead, but not the other things. He's just like, like he built it specifically to stop zombies from wandering in. And if that's not the threat, he's like, oh no, fuck no, man. Like that's it's like saying like the shark can't get through my mosquito netting. And it's like, it can, it will. I didn't build it to stop sharks. So they all disperse, and you can see that they're starting to head. And you can notice that some of the townsfolk are certainly observing that. Like they notice that people are starting to go. But again, they trust the mayor. I mean, he's been the mayor for at least 2 seasons, 2.5. And honestly, odds are he might get another one. So, Right.
I think to prove how distant we were, like it's not being done as proof, but it's an inadvertent thing that Quinny has where he's like, butter guy, the mayor Butter Brown.
Well,
yes.
we were buddies.
Yes.
Brown Barrow, Butter Brown.
Yes.
B&B.
Look, I'm going to talk with Mayor Butter Buddy about the logistics of, getting everyone out of here and things like that. But in the meantime, please lend your ears to the King of Akai. He's here himself to enlist your help and to provide his aid. It's King Butthole Farch.
Yeah, and Butthole has swung off his big furry coat, and he's like, "Quinny, can you hold on to this? And are you willing to talk to help us convince these people this is dangerous?"
I mean, sure.
Great, okay. And he just gives him his coat, and then he goes up, and Butthole's just like,
Juniper has been clapping, by the way. Just like,
friends!
Honestly, everyone else will too. These people like pomp and circumstance, so they're all clapping too, and like they seem pretty jazzed about it. It's kind of nice that they all get to clap.
Friends, halflings, country folk of Quinntown, my name is King Butthole Farch, rightful ruler of Akai and leader of the resistance. I mean, we could just say I'm kind of an anti-zombie enthusiast. Now, clearly, the zombies have been taken care of. You are safe from those things. Yet you have chosen the name of a hero for this town. You've allied yourself with Quinny and what is right in this world. And there are a lot of people who don't want this world to be right. And yes, could you stay here from zombies? Sure. But there is a mercenary army that would punish you for even having named your town this. You could talk to Crendon over there. He's one of them later. But first, let's just keep this focused here.
I'm reformed. Working on it. Sorry.
There are also gods and monsters that will come here the moment that this place is discovered. And they can do far more than the trees. They can shake the earth itself. And he casts thaumaturgy because you can cause minor localized earthquakes. And he says, and they have harnessed the power of flame. And all the fires in the area just explode higher. And he looks at them and he says, I don't want to rob you of your lands. These are good lands. These are your lands. And I know that there is no ruler in this area. But what I can promise you is that if you come with us, my friend Juniper, and he just points to her towards the back of the crowd.
She's like waving both arms now.
And the doctor is like doing a full on, like next to you in like an ad for either real estate agents or a 90s hip hop album, and is kind of pretending he's with you and is like nodding and just giving you like the thumb over his shoulder and
Juniper will bless these lands so that they continue to grow even if untended. So when you return, they'll be better than they ever were before. We'll take you to a fortress where you and your people can provide all of the food you have to keep everyone alive through this winter of the undead. And in the end, I will return you to these lands, and we will declare this a new nation under its own control, the nation of Quinlandia. And one of you will be named the Farm Baron, whoever you choose, and will sit at my high table and become a voice for your people, not just here, but around the world. Because you are a treasure, and you deserve to survive this winter of death.
And a massive cheer goes up from the crowd. And you just hear someone say like, I hope I get to be the Baron for a season. Then Raquel kind of steps forward and says, hey, you're saying that This town allied itself with good. And Quinny there, and she like points at the town hall that you've gone into, Quinny. It's like, not many people here share this opinion, but I know a couple of people he hurt pretty badly. Now, you say you're his friend. You say you brought him back from the dead.
Yes.
Why? Why is Quinny worth following?
Because Quinny is trying to save people and trying to do the right thing, despite the fact that he was flawed. He is flawed. We're all flawed. I mean, I don't claim to be a perfect person, and I'm sure you don't either. The important thing is we're striding to do better. And everything he has done, every step he has taken, Quinny has taken one step forwards. There are occasional steps back. I tried to make him a king, and he realized he didn't want that power because he would have to make hard choices for others. Quinny saves. Quinny used to steal, and Quinny used to be self-centered. But Quinny is a shining example of the greatness with all of us. Not the perfection. I don't know what that is. But he's trying to do the right thing. And it's hard not to back the guy trying to do the right thing when he's looking after other people first. It'd be a lot easier, I mean, theoretically, if we were walking down this like dark path, for people to come in and just take the food from you. And our enemies would. We don't want that. We want to protect you, and we want to protect what you own, and we want to help you build a bright future. And we want you to not be eaten by zombies or killed by the ground god or invaded by Crendon's friends. He'll explain if you ask him.
Yeah, they're assholes. Don't hang out here. Sorry. Carry on.
I'm not asking you to follow Quinny blindly. I'm just asking you to live and to hope and to let us help you.
Quinny, inside the town hall, you've heard all of this through your thaumaturgical cell phone.
Yeah, okay.
As you talk to Mayor Butter Brown. What did you attempt? What did you want to do? Yeah. What was your intent? Because I imagine you wouldn't listen to the first part of the speech about like everything's gonna be fine, blah blah blah. Your ears would perk up when Butthole started talking about all the cool stuff you've done. Even if you don't really want to listen to that, you have other things. It'd be very hard, I think, to not listen to that.
Yeah, it's distracting. Yeah.
What was your intent with the mayor?
To get him on side, to get like the mayor's support in this, like I think Quinny's mindset is like, this is going to happen one way or another.
Yep. He's
just trying to grease the wheels and make it as smooth a transition as possible while we have time before it is a crisis, before like the literal wolves are at our door kind of thing.
Sure. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I get that.
So he's talking logistics. He's talking about how it would look so good for him in the upcoming season. Imagine a local hero who stays local. Oh shit. Statue of Butter Brown out there.
What?
Butter Brown?
Yeah. Me.
Yes. Yeah.
Alongside you, could we like the two best buds?
Could be. That's an option.
Yeah,
on the
two best friend statues.
It could even be, I'm not ashamed to admit it. Could be that statue, we're physically kind of similar. You gotta keep it trim. You're pretty you got a similar physique.
You like pats his paunch proudly.
Yep. And I pat it too. That statue there could kind of be like repurposed or like, I would say upgraded to be the Mayor Butter Brown statue.
Well, hey, I like that a lot, but it sounds like your friend is talking about being a farmer baron. What do you say? What do you say you put old Butter Brown forward for that? You guarantee me that seat here as the ruler of Quinlandia. Then butter me up, if you will.
Look, Mayor Butter Up, there are no guarantees in this world. A life lived and died. I can tell you that, but I can also tell you, doesn't hurt to try. I will definitely mention your name. Quinny says, having forgotten it. to the big guy out there.
Roll me a deception check.
Yeah, see, this is Quinny's problem is he didn't lie to his parents or the crowd.
So that's a 4.
Oh,
For a total of 17.
yeah, Jesus Christ.
He got up in front of that crowd and just be like, a dragon is coming. We'd all be leaving.
Have you heard of Smaug?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he's really into that. And then Butthole transitions into talking about you. How do you feel hearing all these kind things he's saying about you?
I think the mayor starts talking about he's like he starts going into like sort of like logistics, but also sort of those like aspirational ideas of like, as the farm baron, would I get a hat or like that kind of thing?
Maybe a better hat than the doctor. He's very proud of that. Maybe I can have his hat.
And it's like Butthole is getting kind of louder in my ear as he gets quieter. Just mentally, I just can't help but tune him out and kind of tune into what Butthole is saying, and just kind of like nodding and just providing like vague answers. I think I just go quiet. I think Quinny goes quiet. And there was a time when he thought of himself that way, as being a great figure or a figure meant who was going to achieve greatness. But he didn't realize at the time that like the path to that had a lot of like hardship and some sacrifice and loss and things like that. So it's, it all sounds great on the surface level, and he's glad that it appears to be working around the crowd, but he doesn't really like what he's hearing, even though it's like nice things. He's like, it still feels like a lie. You know what I mean? Because it's like when he keeps telling one side of the story, which is like, I've done some bad things and I've been a bad person, and Butthole's been very supportive and was like, he's done some great things too, but it never feels like the full story is being told. It feels like that full story could never be told. And Quinny's story just feels so like futile to try to convey what that life is like, especially having lived and then died and had an afterlife and then come back. It always feels fractal, like it's just not the full story, no matter who is telling it.
Right.
And so there's just it just feels hollow in that way.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. At the end of Butthole's speech, Raquel jumps back in and just says, yeah, that all makes sense and all, and that's fine. But again, hey, Ginny, what do you think? And
do I hear that?
You hear, yeah, you're hearing all of it through his comms.
I just like shut up for a second, Butter Baron, and I like go I go to the window.
And she climbs up the statue and just kind of looks out over the crowd and says, look, Mom, you're not wrong about him, but neither's this guy. Uncle Butthole, he's right too. And look, obviously this sucks, and he kind of sucks too sometimes, but this is the place that scares him the most in the world. And from the sounds of things, he's been to literal, actual, real person hell. And he came back here anyway because he needed to, and it was the right thing to do, and he came here. So I don't really care if he's a good person or a bad person or like what. And obviously, like, I've got some stuff to sort out with him. But I think Uncle Butthole's right. I think we should follow him. Because like, good or bad, right or wrong, he did the right thing here. So I say we follow my dad.
Oh.
At which point the woods around Quinton burst into flames.
This episode of Dum-Dums and Dragons features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Elizabeth at EL Hamstring on Twitter, and our DM Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode's sound was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and Dum-Dums and Dragons logo is by Decapitated Markers at Decapitated Marker on Twitter. Our theme songs are And Now for That Massive Coronary and Skipping Through the Orchestra Pit Part 1 by Peter Gresser, and our ad music is No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. But most importantly, we've got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDUMBDICE. And tune in next week for more Dum-Dums and Dragons. Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time. The Half-Blind Prophet, Christopher Little, Sue One, George Dolby, Lord Abradovic, Orion Birchfield, Scott Garland, Benjamin V, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Cade Peters, Richard Cranium, Anna Zed, Logan, Fire Unfriendly, Acrix, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Austin Nut Powers Fry, Stabby Stranger, Roman Brown, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.